there is a rain ongoing outside, so I cannot shoot. Ready, steady, start. Hi everyone, this is Krisha from Third World Book Nerd. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we talk about books, reading, and the nerd life in the Philippines. Today we are going to talk about the books that I brought with me when I moved out of home, so please stay tuned. So late last year, I moved out of home and it has been a crazy, insane adventure. So without further ado, let's just hop into the video right now. So the first book on our list is Dahl's Innocence. And I'm virtually done with it, almost done. Here I've got a cute bookmark, let me flex it. If you've been hanging out with me here on the channel, you'd have seen this book in my previous Big Bad Wolf book haul. And this book it's a pretty short book. It's a collection of short stories from Roald Dahl's own childhood, and then some selected short stories about innocence, or basically the loss thereof. I really enjoyed this book unexpectedly because it gives you like a behind the curtain feel of how Roald Dahl came to be as a person and the writer that he is. And you also kind of see how his childhood experiences influenced his work. Like for example, the headmistress in Matilda was actually inspired by one of his headmasters in boarding school. Or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory came about because the kids in their boarding school, they used to be Cadbury, the chocolate factory, used to send them samples of new sweets for them to rate and judge and, you know, review. So that was pretty exciting. Roald Dahl, he's a person who lived in the 1920s, so his childhood experiences were super different from ours. Roald Dahl is not just a children's books author, he's really an awesome storyteller. It's kind of jarring at first. It's like watching Adam Sandler, who is a comedian, play a drama. But the longer you read, the more you realize that, man, he's good. He's really good. So that's that. If you ever encounter this book in the wild, I do suggest that you pick it up. Okay, that's perfect. Up next we have, it's called A Farewell to Arms by our good friend Ernest Hemingway. So Hemingway is one of those authors that I've heard about but haven't actually read. Personally, to me, he's just this old white dude who probably died from too much drink at the turn of the century. But I could be wrong. Lots of copywriters love Ernest Hemingway because of his writing style and his brevity. Like, he is apparently known to write like such short, on-the-point sentences that makes you just want to read through the next sentence or paragraph in a very spontaneous manner, so to say. So me, being a copywriter, believe it or not, I am a copywriter. I don't look it because I don't know what to say in front of the camera most of the time, but I am. Since a lot of copywriters recommend reading Hemingway for you to improve your own writing, I thus got such book. This book is set in, I believe, World War I. It's set in the midst of war, and it talks about the soldiers' experiences in World War I. I can't really delve much into it because I haven't read it. But here's the thing. I now get why those copywriters recommend you to read Hemingway, because this dude, Mr. Hemingway, he makes run-on sentences look good. Like, I don't know how he does it. I can't tell you more about it because I've only read the first chapter, I think, and not a lot happens there. But when I finish this one, I'll let you know all about it. Or if you've already finished it, let me know what you think. Next one is On Writing by Stephen King. This is a non-fiction book. It's part autobiography, memoir, part manual on how to write. I guess, or how to write well, or how to write like Stephen King. I wouldn't say success story because he has a lot of bumps along the way, but I like reading his memoir about being a writer and all that. The book also has really awesome tips on how to write. So if you want to learn more about writing, I do suggest that you give this one a whirl and see if his tips are for you or not. This book is also where the quote books are a uniquely portable magic comes from. So if you read this one and you find that popular quote, you'd be pleasantly, I guess, surprised. This one is something that I love. Hey, it's a bottle of Storm Clouds by Liza Victoria. Liza Victoria, let me just say, Liza Victoria is one of my most favorite authors, most nagani favorite pagyud. This is a collection of 16 stories about the mythical, the mysterious, the mundane. What I love most about this collection is that most of her stories are set in the Philippines or have Filipino elements in them, which is so awesome because while we don't have a lot of full-length novels in Filipino or English by a Filipino author that tackles this particular genre, I would gladly read 60 short bite-sized pieces of prose all about them any day. If you're a big fan of Neil Gaiman and like stories that blur the lines between magic and real life, you will love this anthology, especially if you also love Philippine myths and, as it says here, alternative alamat. What I love most about Eliza Victoria's writing style is although she writes in English, she never loses that cadence and flavor of being Filipino in her prose. So that's actually kind of difficult to achieve if you're a writer. Like, it's just hard, but she does it effortlessly, and that's what I love about her. So if you want to read more about this one, I think you can find a copy in Fully Booked, or if you're from Cebu, there is a copy that you can read if you go to Books and Brews Cafe in Mango, somewhere there. So I do highly recommend this one. Hi Jimin, how's it hanging, bro? So yun. What I have next is another Filipino book. It's Bone Talk by Candy Gourlay. I found this one lying around in National Bookstore before they became National School Supply Store. But that's another chica for another time. This is a coming-of-age tale set in the time of the American occupation here in the Philippines. And it's actually set somewhere north in Ifugao or Sagada in a town called Bontoc. And the title is actually a play on the town's pronunciation because Americans, they can't pronounce it like we do, like Bontoc. They say it like Bone Talk, which is weird. I will give a full review once I've done reading it, hopefully, and I have very high hopes for this one. I hope it's as great as everyone says it is. So, in it. Up next we have Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes. Looks good, no? So one day, Maggie's tea butter, Tita Maggie, she posts this book, Something Wicked This Way Comes, and she says it's amazing. And because I like Maggie and I have this weird habit or resolution to read the books that my favorite authors read so that I know what they like and what kind of prose makes them say, hey, this is awesome. So I go to Fully Booked, I find the book and I buy it. Kind of a creepy book. What it's about is that, I think it's also a coming-age tale. It's about two boys and what happens to them when this creepy circus comes to town. And the title itself is quite ominous. It says, Something Wicked This Way Comes. So let's see if this freaks out the living daylights out of me, but for now all I can say is I'm looking forward to reading this book as much as I'm looking forward to the rest of my pile here. So yun, that's that. Okay, another one. Here's another one. It's Paprika. And yes, this book is the inspiration for the anime film of the same name. This book revolves around, there's a dream invading device. Its prototype goes missing and it threatens life as they know it. So it's up to Paprika to solve that. I clearly don't know much about this book. If you have read Paprika or have seen the movie, please do let me know if it's as good as everyone says it is. I'd love to hear your reactions towards it, because apparently I'm an idiot who knows nothing about it. So there's that. I'm down to my last two books, my friends. This next one is, can you see how pretty it is? I got Jane Eyre because I wanted to cleanse my palate from all this Reylo fanfiction that I've been consuming for the past month ever since The Rise of Skywalker came out, right? Because I need closure in my life, okay? So, I've been consuming a lot of Reylo fanfiction for the past month, and I wanted to cleanse my palate because that's all that I've been consuming, just Reylo fanfiction. They're not bad, but I needed something like a change of scenery. I ended up getting Jane Eyre, but surprise, joke's on me, this book still has a strong protagonist who happens to be female, who happens to be an orphan. There's a brooding love interest inside, and apparently it's a huge enemies to lovers trope again. And then Jane is, spoiler alert, apparently an heiress. So it's basically real fanfiction all over again, just without the lightsabers. I just wanted to educate myself, actually. I'm not a big fan of classic books like this. I just can't plow through, like, for example, Pride and Prejudice. I love the story, but I can't read the book because there's so many words. But so far, Jane Eyre actually has been proving to be very enjoyable. I love Jane. She's crazy, and when people say that she's actually the first modern heroine, I kind of believe it, because she's so headstrong. She's not subservient at all. She's not like the protagonists that you find in most novels from this era, which is very refreshing. She's so snarky, I love her. So let's hope that I get to finish this one as well. And last one, we have, can we appreciate the cover? Oh, it's so nice! So, back cover says, love is often found in unlikely places, but could there be anywhere less likely than the Nakano thrift shop? One of my goals this year is to actually, well, diversify my reading diet by exploring more Asian writers, because for the past, well, for as long as I can remember, I've only been consuming a lot of Western authors, which is kind of a shame. So here we are, starting off with the Nakano thrift shop. So that's that. This is my books. Oh, it's so nice. So that's it, you guys. I hope you had fun going through all of the books that I brought with me here in my new apartment. If you got any comments, suggestions, violent reactions, or just about anything that you want to say, please don't forget to drop a comment in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel, and share it to all of your nerdy friends who might like this content. So that's it for today. My battery is almost dead. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been Krisha from Third World Book Nerd. Bye! Hanggang sa muli! Okay, rolling. Okay.